Morning.
Good morning.
The record reflects we are back in session. Parties and council are present. All members of our jury and our alternates are present. Mr. McGee is not present today. Mr. Mullane, you're prepared to go forward with the witness?
Yes.
All right. So you may proceed.
Your Honor, could we...
Before we do, there was one thing we needed to correct. Yesterday, there was a reference to an exhibit number. It was a comparison with another case that Mr. Beasley had done, or a photograph or a chart of something, another case that Mr. Beasley had done, and it was referred to as Exhibit 2013. That's wrong. And it caught my attention when they said that. I said, I don't think we're at 2000. The correct number for the exhibit is 1113. Okay? And you go ahead and
Thank you. Yep. If we could do the stipulation, Your Honor.
Oh, sure. So, I've told you many times that the statements of the attorneys are not evidence. There is one exception to that rule, and the exception is when the attorneys agree or stipulate to certain facts, then that is part of the evidence that you can consider and evaluate along with all of the other evidence. And so the attorneys did reach a stipulation with regard to part of this witness's testimony, so let me read that to you. The defense and the prosecution stipulate to the following facts. 1, Brent Rolfe, R-O-L-F, is employed by the San Bernardino County Information Services Department. 2, the San Bernardino County Services Department is responsible for saving and storing survey photographs for San Bernardino County. 3, Brent Rolfe certifies that on February the 12th, 2010, at 11:31 a.m., at an altitude of 13,013 feet, an aerial photograph of the area around Victorville was taken. Brent Rolfe certifies that a digital copy of that aerial photograph was stored in TIFF format, a format for high-resolution photographs. 5, Brent Rolfe also certifies that Brent Rolfe certifies that aerial photograph covered the northeast quadrant of the Victorville 7.5 USGS quad sheet. 6, the aerial photograph was the photograph submitted to this witness, Greg Stuckman, of Stuckman Forensic Laboratory Analysis, for analysis, okay? So when Mr. Stuckman refers to that photograph, now you know what photograph it is. It's a photograph that was taken on February the 12th, 2010, as part of the county's normal surveying of, I'm not sure if it's just the desert or the whole county, but it wasn't something that was done specifically for this case. But the photograph was there, it was obtained, and so when he refers to that photograph, now you know what that photograph is. Okay? And you can consider that as part of the evidence in the case, the same as if they called the pilot or whoever took the photograph and Mr. Rolfe, who stored it and sent it to the witness. Okay? All right. You may proceed.
Thank you. And before we start, I'd like to thank Madam Juror for the reminder about Secretary's Day. Today is Secretary's Day.
Yeah, it would have been good if you would have reminded me of that.
Mr. Stuckman,
Yes.
just following on the heels of the judge's reading of the stipulation, this aerial photograph that was taken by the Information Services Department for the County of San Bernardino, you were given that photograph, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and we marked,
Let me interrupt you just for 1 second. Both sides do so stipulate to the stipulation as well,
Yes.
correct?
yes,
Thank you. Go ahead.
and that has been marked as Exhibit 1088. And I have it up on the screen. What I'd like to do is we also blew it up, and I'm going to show you this photograph. And do you see that photograph, Mr. Stetchman?
Yes, I do.
And is that the photograph that we're looking at on the screen?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and that's Exhibit 1088. It's just a blow-up of what we have there. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, when you got this photograph, what did you do with it?
It was,
And what?
I'm sorry.
Before I ask you that, what was it that this photo represented?
It represented an area in the desert in Victorville, and it was my understanding where the body.
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled, he can answer it. What his understanding was.
So not offered for the truth of the matter.
Correct, not whether or not that is actually correct.
So it was my understanding that it was the area where the bodies were found.
Okay, and what did you do with the photograph when you got it, if anything?
Mr. McGee had sent a drawing with a circle around the area that was relevant, and he wanted that area clarified and cropped. We did 3 different versions of the crop so you could see more closely the details of the image.
Okay. Were you asked to do any further analysis of the photograph?
No,
So essentially what you did was enhance it in some way?
and crop it.
And crop it, okay. And we will have another witness to testify about this, but that was your role as it pertains to this photograph, correct? Okay. Now, as part of your, I guess, assignment in this case, what was it exactly that you were asked to do?
It started with the analysis of a video that had a very dark night video that had a truck drive through that you could see just part of the truck.
And was that, did you commonly refer to that as the MITCHLEY video?
Yes.
Okay. And were you asked to do any comparisons with that video and make determinations?
Yes.
And what were you specifically asked to do regarding the MITCHLEY video?
We received more than just the MITCHLEY video. We received pictures of the truck formerly owned by the defendant, and to compare features between the two. I believe alleged that the vehicle formerly owned by the defendant was the vehicle in the video. So my role was to analyze it and see what characteristics are in common and what ones are not.
The purpose of that would be to either exclude or not exclude.
Objection, leading.
Who wrote?
That would be correct.
So to include or, sorry, to exclude or not exclude Mr. Merritt's vehicle. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, in that regard, were you present or were you present when Mr. Licio, the people's expert, testified?
I was not, but I reviewed the video of his testimony.
And did you review his reports?
I did.
And were you asked to do something in that regard as well?
Yes, I was. I was asked to evaluate his work and his conclusions.
Okay. Now, given the MITCHLEY video, I'm going to go to Exhibit 1089. And did you have some problems with the MITCHLEY video, or did you? What are some of the things you encountered with the MITCHLEY video in doing your job?
First of all, well, what you got up is not the actual vehicle in the MITCHLEY video. The video is very dark. You couldn't see details of the side of the actual body. There was a beam that was in the way and cut off anything above the hood level. see the headlights and some shadows when the brake lights were applied later.
It was grainy, poor quality?
Yes.
Okay. You have Exhibit 1089, the actual copies of the photographs. Is there any particular photograph that, because it has several pages in it?
Yes. Well, this is progressive frames
Okay.
as the truck moves through the video.
Okay. So you want me to move through the video?
Sure.
Okay.
Just for familiarization.
Okay. Do you want me to,
If you push F5, it'll just have the one image and you can use the arrow keys.
F5?
Uh-huh.
No? How about if I just do it the old-fashioned way by moving my mouse?
Okay.
Okay. Do you want me to stop at any particular point?
Oh, okay.
I'm going to back up.
Okay, what I'd like to do is just go through frame by frame.
Okay.
Can you go back to maybe 2? Okay, yes, let's click on 2.
Okay.
Okay, this is the headlights as they're coming into the camera view.
Okay.
And the next one just shows it progressing through the camera view. And the next one does too. And you can see the headlights, you can see some reflection on the bumper.
Okay. You have a pointer up there, Mr. Stutchman. If you want to use it
Oh, I do.
to point things out, that would be great.
Okay. Okay, so here's the headlights, and then some reflection on the bumper beneath the headlights. And a dark spot where there's no light.
Mr. Stutchman, if I can ask that you speak up, because the
sure.
court reporter has to take things down,
Yes.
and the jurors are have to hear as well.
Yes, we have the headlights, and beneath the headlights, we have a reflection on the bumper, and then between the reflection and the headlights is dark.
Okay. And then,
Your Honor, may I pose a query? We've seen multiple still images, yet they're all labeled the same exhibit. There's been no foundation or explanation as to what exhibit we're actually looking at or what it contains.
it's all Exhibit 1089, which is noted at the bottom, and I mentioned that earlier. It contains several pages.
So there are, there's.
Well, we had no
several-
testimony of that, so if we can have the record clarified, please.
Yeah, you might, when you're referring to particular images, you might indicate if it's labeled, number 4, number 5, number 6, or whatever within 1089.
Okay.
So
So
it's,
let's go back to the beginning then, because we'll start at 1. Okay, this is the first still of this Exhibit 1089.
That's correct.
And we saw the vehicle progress through, and you were paying attention to the headlights. Is that correct?
Correct.
And now we're on the third frame of that. Sorry, fourth frame of that.
Mine shows 6.
It does? Okay. Let's start again. Okay, 2. So 2 is really 1. So let's. So this is 1,
Right?
2, 3,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
5, 6,
Yes.
7.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want me to stop at any point?
The headlights are now about to go out of sight,
Okay. Then 8.
and there is a side light that has become visible.
Okay.
Objection assumes facts, not evidence that it's a light.
overruled.
And it's a very small point in this photograph, correct?
Correct.
And could you, if you don't mind, just point that out with the,
Right here.
okay. Okay, so now we go on to 11,
Yes.
and you still see that as you described the side light?
Yes, getting brighter.
Okay,
And again.
okay. And now we're on 13,
Yes. And it's still there. It's
14?
moving forward, brighter.
okay. Now, was there a reason, now does that end that series on
Yes,
1089?
that was just familiarization with the video and still frames from the video.
Okay, is there a reason why you wanted to point out that progression?
Yes, primarily to show the limited detail that's available of the truck in the video. You see the headlights and the reflection on the bumper, but you really don't see much of the detail. If you look at the side, you can't see any detail of the side of it, and it's cut off above the hood. So very limited information available.
Okay, so this is what you have to work with, at least initially, when making a determination whether you can exclude Mr. Merritt's truck or not exclude it, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And did your analysis continue?
Yes.
Okay. And what did that include? Did you look at any measurements?
Oh, can we look at the next?
Do you see that?
Yes.
This is Exhibit 795.
Right.
Okay. Do you want me to click again?
Well, I would like you to play that.
Okay. So this is an actual video. And what are we looking at in Exhibit 795?
We're looking at a video prepared by law enforcement of the truck that used to belong to Mr. Merritt driving at night.
So this would be something done by San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department?
Yes.
Okay.
Could you play that again?
Sure. If you want me to stop, let me know.
Okay. I'll tell you when to stop. Play again. Stop. Oh, we went too far.
Okay. Back up a little.
Mm-hmm.
How about there?
There.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there something you wanted to point out here?
Yes, of particular significance. We have the headlights, we have the reflection on the bumper, and then we have this turn signal driving light, wider than the headlights, and goes around to the side.
Mr. Stutchman, if I could just ask you again, if you could speak up, because when you turn your head, it's hard
I'm
to
sorry.
hear.
Well, try moving the microphone that way a little bit. There you
Okay.
go.
All right.
So you're
Okay.
pointing out the headlight region of Mr. Merritt's truck, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And this was, for lack of a better word, the experiment that law enforcement, San Bernardino County Sheriff, was doing in 2014.
Correct.
Okay. And you were specifically pointing out what?
I was specifically pointing out the headlight and underneath of it, a driving light / turn signal blocking light that is wider than the headlight. And then beneath that, we have the reflection.
So, when law enforcement, when San Bernardino did their experiment, and they, your understanding was that they went out to the actual location of the MITCHLEY residence?
Yes, but this was not the camera that captured the MITCHLEY video. It's a completely different perspective.
Okay. So, but they, your understanding was that they went to that same location, correct?
Right, and did a night video shoot.
Okay. And did you want? And you were pointing out the, I guess, the running lights.
Yes.
All right. And in this video, we can see the running lights clearly separated from the headlights. Is that correct?
We can.
Okay. And is that the same for the left headlight as well?
Yes. It's a little different perspective, but you clearly see the corresponding driving light / turn signal light.
Okay. And on the right part of it, on the right headlight, from that view, it actually, you can see it extend past the headlight. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. If we go back a little bit further, we can actually have a better view of the left headlight. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now there's some, it looks like there's some projections in front of the vehicle of some sort. Can you describe what those are? If they're visible on your screen?
Oh, it's just the light beams of the headlights in darkness.
Okay.
It doesn't show up here, but it does on my screen.
Okay.
It doesn't show up here well.
Okay. And so do you want me to run through this and?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, can you go back?
Sure.
is a marker light on the side of the box, the passenger side of the box of the truck that Mr. Merritt used to own.
Okay. And was that something that you took into consideration?
Yes. This
How-
particular light does not show up in the MITCHLEY video because the beam blocks the view of it from the camera.
So in other words, the measurements of how high the headlights and this side light are, those are important factors?
Yes.
And did you note the measurements of this side light on Mr. Merritt's vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, and so let's, do you want me to go to the next exhibit now?
Yeah, and the next one just shows stills, go ahead. This just is stills from the video.
Okay,
It shows
again,
the same thing we just saw, but in still images.
okay. Again, pointing out the running lights are clearly visible and distinct from the headlights, is that correct?
True.
Okay. And just, this is another still?
Correct.
This is exhibit 796.
Yes.
And then we have exhibit 974. Can you describe what this is?
Yes, exhibit 974 is a comparison that was done by the Sheriff's Department. I believe it was done by the Sheriff's Department. And this is the still image, whoops.
Objection
This is the-
misstates the testimony lacks foundation.
Overruled.
Your Honor, may I be heard?
All right, counsel approach. Order. We're gonna take, hopefully, a brief recess. And we'll, hopefully be back in about 15 or 20 minutes. Keep in mind, the admonitions previously given to you, not to form or express any opinions about the case, not to discuss the case, and, we'll see everyone back in